welcome to this channel, Tvartalk. Today I just thought I'll just shoot a video just to introduce what this channel is about. My name is Ntokozo Sinclair Mhlaba, and it's been something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And over the years, I've always known and listened to people with different stories. I know the power of a story. It reminds me when I was a young man, then my father was still alive, and he used to share quite a few stories about the time when they were in the liberation struggle. And it was so inspiring, such that I would have loved to keep it on record. So I remember at one point in time, I even used to have the old cassette recorders to record the stories that he used to share. But unfortunately, these were reborn, if the old school would remember this, they were, reborn form, and it was on a cassette recorder. It was a form of a cassette. New generation would not understand what that is nowadays. But it was very important for me to have that as a record. But unfortunately, coming from an African background, we don't come from an environment where people used to write, but we used to have people who would narrate stories even from a younger age. Hence, I understand the power of a story. But what happens then if that narrator dies, or no one is passed on that information to narrate? And there is always the problem of distorting the narration. But it is important for us to have it on record. So I just thought, what if, from the lessons that I have learned over generations, that have been passed on from my father, from my grandfather, from his father, you know what I mean. Having read books as well, from a very powerful writer called Dr. Miles Monroe, who says that the richest place is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, that's where you find dreams that were never realized, books that were never written. That's where the power of every human being ends. And those dreams, aspirations, and hopes die with us all. But it is very powerful if a story is shared, and through the generations that we have passed through, that story is inspiring with the lessons learned. And it is so unfortunate, because in our days we are so engrossed in what social media has to say, in what the celebrities have to say. But the power is in the conversations that we have as individuals. And from those conversations, we learn quite a lot. And that's where you discover that all the inspiration, whether you go to church or you're speaking to elders in the community, or you're speaking to your peers, everyone has something unique to share. And when I speak of uniqueness, I speak of the wisdom that comes from the infinite above. I call him God because he is the infinite one. He is the, overall existing one. It says clearly, he grew in wisdom and in stature and with the favor of man. So that is a powerful thing. However, not all of us are believers, but we as human beings are a unique people regardless of race, regardless of creed, regardless of belief systems. We are a people who have something within us as individuals, something extraordinary, something powerful that has been given to us by our Maker. Desires that we operate in unison. It is unique gifts to individuals, just as our fingerprints are unique to us. Those gifts are tailored for that individual. And every one of us has something to give this world. And it is through the conversations that we have. It is through the generational impartation that we have. You know, I remember my dad, he used to share insights. He used to give certain things that no one else could give. He used to have an insight, a certain perspective of his own that no one else could understand. And it was only through conversations, only things that he used to share. Unfortunately, because there wasn't a recording system then, I never actually got to take that on record. But some of these things are memories that we share. And those things are what sparks our desires, our inspiration today. I speak to a lot of people. I have conversations with a lot of people. But I thought, you know, coming into a foreign land, all the things that we may remember, the things that we may not share, the infinite wisdom that we receive, the ideas that we generate, will never see the light of day. Unless and until maybe you are somebody who's become of prominence and you are recognized within a society. You know, hence the celebrity status that we have nowadays. That's when we get to hear about what you have to say or about the things that you have been through in the past. So this channel, the idea is to capture each and every story of importance so that young people, even elder people, can relate to these things and be inspired by these stories so that we become a better people, a better connected people. My desire with this channel is that as we are having those conversations, you may pick one or two things that you can relate to, things that can inspire you to be a better somebody. Stories that will, you know, kind of like inspire and give you a better understanding of how to navigate. Nowadays, we have the challenge of our young people thinking they know a lot more than, you know, the elders. And yet, if they would only listen, you know, it reminds me of a friend of mine who said, you know, in Ntokozo, you have the ability to become the best that you can be, to become extraordinary. But if only you take time to listen. So this is what I'm saying. I am going to be listening to every story that comes on board. I am going to be sharing helpful insight in the stories that I hear. And my desire is for you and me to grow in wisdom. As they say, you know, Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature, or vice versa. A human being is meant to grow. You're meant to grow your mindset. We have come into this kind of environment where we're so dependent on technology. But let's harness the use of technology and capture every moment. Everyone has a story to tell, no matter how insignificant you may think a person is. They may be a cleaner, you know, in the streets. They may be, a janitor, somebody who you think is insignificant. But believe you me, through their life experiences, they can teach you one or two things. So my desire is for us to venture into the communities, pull out people who we think have, may say something that may help us. Talk to people. My desire is for us to no longer have this artificial society where we have to prep everything. Every question that I'll be asking is not a pre-recorded question. It's not a prep question. It's not a prepared interview. We'll be asking the questions as they come, as we listen to those stories. So we are here to get true substance. So hence the word Tiva. Tiva is Croatian for substance. We want to hear the substance that can help us grow as individuals and that can help us progress within our societies. So this is the channel that I am hoping that people could tune into and listen to what people have to say. They say that the hardest thing to do is listen. Listen to the conversations that could help you become a better person. In your today, in the future, as you bring up your children, we are so much into things that I call chewing gum culture. Things that do not build, things that are not of substance. It's like me chewing a bit of gum. Gum to me has no health benefit, but it is quite entertaining. But the important thing that we need to now do is capture these stories. I was looking at it. We're aging as it comes. And those that went before us, our parents, our foreparents, our great-grandparents, some of them are no more. Some of them are reaching to that age where they will no longer be with us on this planet Earth. But the question would be, what have we learned? And what have they left for us? Dr. Miles Monroe said, we stand on giants in terms of every history book that you look at, every book that you look at, it's a history that was written of something. So this channel wants to capture history from the ordinary man, because that's where the true lessons and the true values are, in the community. So here we go, Tvartalk. I will try and post every week, an interview every week from an extraordinary individual, because we are all extraordinary. Some have achieved so much success, but because the success is not up to the standard that the world is detecting, they will never be known about. Some of us, the only time we get to be read about is at the back of a newspaper to say, oh, so and so is late, and this is who they were. How about we share that now? Share those things. Let not the richest place be the graveyard, but let the richest place be the communities that are still standing. Yes, let's learn from history, because it says, if you do not learn from your history, you will not know where you are going. So I am saying to you as a people, you as you are watching this are important, and you can impart important lessons to us or the next person that lives next to you. We just need to ask the questions. Let's give our communities information. They say information is for free, and that's how you gain wisdom. Anyway, thank you very much. Until next time, goodbye.